Para bailar la bamba se necesita una poca de gracia. I didn't understand the timer. Fuck! It's all good. It's all good. We only lost 40 seconds. Doesn't matter. Ah, man. Autistic. Sorry. Didn't hear that. Door click to return to menu. So true. Streaming today. Rest from the red. Wow. So true. That and no wait. This works. This works perfectly well, I think. Let me. Yes, it works. So that's that. Why? Did I not go live? Why do I not see my own transmission? What the fuck? What? What? Let me mute myself real quick. Have to make a call. Send somebody to their final day on Earth. Something like that, I don't know. Also, why is the volume so low? Is it allowed for me to ask that? Did I change the volume already? Let me. I should mute, no? It will be better if I mute it. I am not somebody who tends to mute, so you get the unfiltered me testing the audio. Voice mixer, no audio mixer. Voice meter banana. Well, listen, levels, amplification. Let's 10 decibels. That's like deafening. No, give it like. Can't you? There is no in between. It is either 0 decibels or plus 10 decibels. It's so incredibly weird. Okay. What about having a more proper control of the audio where I can't? I am pretty sure I didn't change anything around me, so I have no clue why it doesn't work like it should. HDMI, no. I'm not listening to anything. Yeah. I'm not listening to anything. Communications. What? When Windows receives calls, the most used function for Windows, certainly, to receive a phone call somehow. How do you even do that? Like, what do you need to receive a phone call on Windows? What's that? People do that? Who does that? Anyway, what time is it? -4. Let me change. No. There we go. Let me. What should I do? I think I'm actually set up. So I need. Yeah, I am going to get some water. That's what's happening next. No. Wait a second. Before I actually do that, let me test the audio myself. Thank you. Um, I don't know. It's like I discovered something. I remember having heard this thing happen before in other streamers. It's like, oh yeah, you go there and say, oh, wow, there are some issues with your audio, wow, and people freaks the fuck out. So yeah, I learned that perhaps I should care about audio a little bit, even if I am not the most clever human being. Not that I needed to be such, but certainly I don't get it. So I don't know. I guess anyway. We are good. We are Gucci, as they would say. So yeah, let let me be clear. No, let me get some water. Do we have something? Do we have anything? Do we have a thing? What does it mean to have something? Anyway, yeah. Let me do that. I will be back in like 2 minutes. I didn't I didn't come here late. You're late. Anyway, what's up? Uh, Good evening. Good morning. Good one. Today, here are we here? Yeah, we are here. Um, I need to actually like try to talk with more intensity. I guess I don't know. Let me adjust myself. True, I am like half a meter away from no half a meter away, half a centimeter away from the mic. It's like I'm uncomfortably close, so we should be good. Point is, what do we have to do today? Continue. I don't actually. Yeah, I can check that. When was the last time that I read I think it has been like 2 weeks or so, if not even more. 9 December 9. Wow. So anyway, point is, we continue reading. Um Virata Parva. Wow. Let me something else. I still have that feeling that, oh yeah, I am forgetting something, but I don't know. I guess it wasn't that important, or maybe it's just the anxiety of existence. It can be like that sometimes. Also, wonderfully enough, today internet seems to be working perfectly, so no problem about that. Uh, whatever. There we go. What's up? Let me see. We have no. We have this here, which is what is this? This is a book. Wow. Why is the source name Mahabharata 2? When did I have Mahabharata 1 open? Hmm. Anyway, point being, here we are. So let me try to explain what are we doing. We have been reading this book called the Mahabharata, the complete Mahabharata. Translation by Menon Ramesh. Wow. Uh, and the point is here, we have been moving forward. We find ourselves now in the Virata Parva, which is, what is the Virata Parva about? Wow. Great. I have no clue. We have to read it. I last thing that we read was like a metaphysical discussion, I guess, yeah, about the nature of being, about the more transient, transient things that pertain to the human nature and whatnot. That was what happened the last time. We spent like 2 hours or so trying to check, um, trying to make sense out of one canto. So, what is a canto? One singular unit of text. It wasn't. It wasn't this one, but it was. Mm, we ended up reading like three. Wow, so amazing. Three, probably like four. No, and yeah, the concept was we ended up exploring a lot about the different metaphysical aspects of the nature of the being. It was quite a varied discussion in terms of, oh yeah, what are the in the language that we utilize here will be, what are the things that ensure that a man does well, that ensure that they reach heaven, that ensure that they live a happy life and whatnot. And we had a lot of that basically in many other discussions, like, oh yeah, and what do those who dedicate themselves the most to the acquisition of proper knowledge and whatnot, and what what are the tasks that we should occupy ourselves with. Okay, this is what I'm trying to talk about. Canto 311. This was the last thing that we not the last thing. This was the most important part of the last time that we were reading this whole analysis basically. And in conclusion, it's what is the actual conclusion? I never had one. I guess the idea was something along the lines of, oh yeah, the person can, any person could be tested against the knowledge of the gods at almost any given moment. So, in a way, it's necessary for one to be capable of understanding deeply enough the principles that rule our existence so that we can easily move forward with or in regards to what we have to demonstrate that we know. And in this case, it applied to the ruler of the Pandavas, so to speak. And yeah, basically that. After that, we it was just progression of the narrative of the story itself. These guys, more context. These guys live. The Pandavas live in a place in which they have a lot of situations related to their own existence in accordance particularly to this one, I wouldn't say the species, but this one kind of people that are the gurus. The gurus are sort of their sworn enemies, and after some confrontations or some incidents, basically, what ended up happening is that, yeah, the Pandavas themselves are now having to face off, sort of, against the rest of the Kurus after having been away for 13 years. Particularly, in this time of, at this point of the story, we are concerned first and foremost with one thing, and that is the observation of what is going to happen in that last year. That's why, no, this last, this is the last canto that we find after we finally here. After we get to the Virata Parva, we were on the Vana Parva. So yeah, it's basically just, let me, what is it, what? I remember having seen something here that basically talked about their last 13th year. They simply, I take into consideration that I will probably not find it. The simpler explanation is just these guys had to go hiding into a, so to speak, public place. Why? I don't actually completely understand the tradition behind that or the significance behind the action. I think it has to do to some degree with what is the whole idea of, yeah, you know what, we there is a confrontation. In this case, it is Pandavas against Kurus. And one of the ways to deal with the it's not just a loss, it's something along the lines of with the reality or with the shame of having failed to do your task properly is to go measure yourself against your so-called enemies after having survived, in this case for 13 years. Why particularly that much time? It does serve as a potential amount of time itself to show that the person who has been ashamed can survive the shameful experience. It's something along the lines of those 13 years that the Pandavas had to survive will not have been survived by anyone who wasn't as mentally strong as them, so to speak. It in the Mahabharata itself, that's not the term that you could find. It's something more along the lines of, no, yeah, the Pandavas were capable of following their dharma and adharma, and they themselves possessed a good enough karma too. But there is this other aspect of, in a more simplified manner of understanding it, they did good and they understood that they needed to keep themselves hidden. And it's the process of, by demonstrating that I can actually survive such a challenge, I become worthy of challenging again the person who won against me in battle. And in this case, there are some other things that are also in play, like, oh yeah, the Pandavas do have also as one of the conditions that if they don't properly do their exile, they will not get back their kingdom and their position in their own kingdom and such. So it also possesses the message of, yeah, it's being able enough of following such a removal from the, it's not exactly the term, but to keep it shortly, the drive, so that the person demonstrates that they are good by themselves, not that they have to rely on others to survive, and only then it is that they become valuable, so to speak. One of the questions that does matter to that degree is the concept of, yeah, how does it come to happen that the Pandavas still got help during the previous time? It is their particular exile was 13 years. The first 12 years they had the capacity or the freedom of spending it with other Brahmanas, which are basically learned, sacred, and dedicated to meditation, so to speak, people. It's perhaps it could have a different meaning, but you could confound or conflate the meaning of guru with that of a brahmana in most cases. And in this one in particular, it wouldn't be that wrong. So, they spent their time with people who are ascetics, basically, and that's good. But there is also that 13th last year that needs to be spent in complete solitude so that they can actually demonstrate that they are good not because others are around them, but because they themselves are good and because they themselves possess those nice qualities that make them great humans, so to speak, or great Kshatriyas, which are basically warriors. So yeah, that will be the whole explanation, I guess. And once again, the context, particular context of this one is this Virata Parva takes place in that 13th year when the Pandavas have to survive while being almost incognito in a city. I don't remember the name of the city. I At some point we are going to find it probably, but yeah, the point is they have to pass their time being hidden. So yeah, anyway, something else? I think not. So yeah, we can probably continue. Anyway, Canto, sorry, Virata Parva, beginning now. Canto 1, Pandava Pravesha Parva, Om. Having bowed down to Narayana and Nara, foremost of Purushas, and to the Devi Saraswati, I invoke the spirit of Haya, Hanamihaya said. Brahmana, how did my great grandfathers live undiscovered in the city of Virata, fearful as they were of Duryodhana? How did their devoted wife, the most blessed Draupadi, unswerving in her faith in God and in the grip of misery, spend her days without being recognized? Vaishampayana said, Hear, O Lord of men, how your great grandfathers passed the period of their exile in King Virata's city without being discovered, having obtained wounds from Dharmadeva. Yudhishthira returns to Rama and tells the Brahmanas all that has befallen them. Then, to the Brahmana who followed him, he restores the fire sticks and the churning staff that he had lost. After that, O Mahabharata, Yudhishthira Dharmaputra calls together all his younger brothers and says, We have passed 12 years in exile from our kingdom. This, our 13th year and most difficult, our 13th and most difficult year has come. Arjuna, you choose a suitable place where we can spend our days undetected by our enemies. Arjuna says, Lord of men, Dharmadeva's moon will enable us to go where we please and yet escape discovery. Still, I will suggest some pleasant and secluded places where we can live and you can choose one of them. Surrounding the kingdom of the Gurus are many beautiful and bountiful lands, such as Panchala, Chedi, Matsya, Surasena, Patachara, Dasarna, Navarastra, Masa, Salva, Yugadhara, Saurashtra, Avanti, and the expansive Kuntirashtra. Which of these will you choose, Rahan? Where shall we spend this year? Yudhishthira says to his brothers, Mahabahos, whatever the Lord of all creatures has decreed must come to pass. Even so, after consulting together, we must choose an agreeable and auspicious place where we can live free from fear. The aged Virata, king of the Bastias, is virtuous, powerful, and charitable. All men like him, and he is fond of us Pandavas. In his city, then, let us spend this year and enter his service. Tell me, sons of Kuru, in what guises will you each present yourselves before King Virata of the Matsyas? Arjuna says, God among men, what service will you perform in Virata's kingdom? In what role will you live in the city of Virata? You are mild and kind-hearted, modest and virtuous, and a man of honor. Rahan, in your present adversity, what will you do? A king has to face troubles just like everyone else. How will you rise above yours? Yudhishthira says, Purusharishab has. What I will do when I appear before King Virata, I will present myself as Kanka, a Brahmana skilled in the game of dice who enjoys playing. I become a courtier in Virata Sabha. I will enter the king. I will entertain the king, his courtiers and his friends by astute moves of ivory chessmen, blue and yellow, red and white, on chessboards, and by clever throws of the black and red dice. Nobody will succeed in discovering me, and should the monarch be curious about me, I will say that I used to be a close friend of Yudhishthira's. This is how I intend to pass my days. What work will you do, Brekodara, in the city of Virata? And that's Canto number 1. So, staring at the idea, I don't think so. We sort of... Yeah, we can already explain particularly the idea of, wow, why are they having to go through the whole hiding? In the more metaphorical manner, so to speak, the other more physical, more obvious one, once again, in case it isn't clear enough, it's they have a game of dice. Pandavas, good guys who we are reading right now, had a game of dice. They lost against the Kurus, their enemies, and because they waged literally everything that they had in that game, what they ended up doing has, and it was in this case, sorry, the necessity of going through this particular exile so that they demonstrate that they deserve at least to challenge once again the Gurus in another game of dice in the future. That's why this is happening. Now, inside of this canto, there is, I don't think there is much, I guess. It's obvious enough already. It's like, oh yeah, the discussion of what is going to be the role that every single one of the brothers is going to occupy inside of this new place that they are going to inhabit during this 1 year that they have to be hiding in. In what was the place? The name was... What? Virata? I guess the city of Virata? Or the city of... Yeah, I guess the city is Virata. I don't know. Yeah. At least it is called Virata's Kingdom, so... But okay, that's yeah, yeah. I mean, it says it here in the city of Birata, so that's the whole context. What are they, each Pandava, going to do inside of Birata's city? Not much else. Any explanation as what's going on besides that? Nothing to actually offer, at least not right now. So yeah, let me continue. No, okay, wait. Before continuing, let me drink water actually. Let me drink something. Okay, we're continuing. Canto number 2. Pandava Paravesha Parava continued. Bhima says, I will present myself before Lord Virata as Balava, cook. I am skilled in the culinary arts. I will prepare food for the king that is better than anything his best cooks have ever set before him, and thus charm him. I will carry mighty loads of wood, and seeing that amazing feat, the king will be pleased. O Maharata, the servants of the royal household will honor me when they see my superhuman ability, and I will gain control of the royal storerooms. I will be commanded to subdue powerful elephants and mighty wolves, which I will do. I will entertain the king by defeating anyone who challenges me in combat. However, I shall not take a life. I will only bring the man down without killing him. And if I am asked about my past, I will say that I was a wrestler and cooking in Histira's court. Rahan, that is how I will spend our 13th year. Yudhishthira says, and Bhima, what occupation will Dhananjaya have? This mighty scion of the Gurus, son of Kunti, best of men, long-armed, invincible in battle, to whom, while he was with Krishna, the divine Agni himself, wanting to consume the Gandhavavana in flames, appeared humble in the guise of a Brahmana? What can Arjuna undertake? This mightiest of Kshatriyas who pleased Agni by killing huge Nagas and Rakshasas from a single chariot, and who married the sister of the Naga king Vasuki? Even as the sun is the lord of all heat givers, the Brahmana the best among all humans, the cobra the foremost of all serpents, Var the first of all things of energy, the Vajra the most powerful of all weapons, the humped bull the greatest among bovines, the ocean of all water bodies, as the rain clouds are the best of all clouds, as Ananta is the chief of all Nagas, Airavata the mightiest of all elephants, as a son is the most beloved of loved ones, and the wife the best of all friends, so is young Gudakesat supreme bowman. Maharaja, what calling will he pursue? Bibhatsu, the wielder of the Gandiva, whose chariot is drawn by white horses, who is equal to Indra and Krishna? What career will he have? Who lived 5 years in the abode of the thousand-eyed Indra? He shines in celestial splendor, and has mastered the Devastras. In my eyes, he is the 10th Rudra, the 13th Aditya, the 9th Vasu, and the 10th Graha. The skin on his long, ambidextrous arms has become calloused and scarred, as on the hams of bulls, by constant wielding of the bow. He is the greatest of Kshatriyas. He is as Himavat among mountains, as Varuna among water bodies, as Sakara among the Devas, as Agni among the Vasus, as the Tyre among beasts, as Garuda among birds. Arjuna says, Lord of the earth, I will declare myself a eunuch. It is surely difficult to hide the marks of the bowstring on my arm, but I will cover both my guard arms with bangles. I will adorn my ears with earrings, and my wrists with bracelets of conch shells. I will wear my hair in a long braid and pose as one of the third sex. Brehanala will be my name. And passing for a hermaphrodite, I will entertain the king and the women of the harem by telling them stories. I will instruct the ladies of Virata's palace in singing and dancing and teach them to play musical instruments. I will also tell of great men's feats of valor, and so hide in disguise. Should the queen inquire, I will say that I worked in Yudhishthira's palace as Draupadi's Sairadri, her maid waiting maid, best of kings, concealing myself like this. As far as covered by ashes, I will pass my days quite happily in Birata's palace. Okay, that's that's canto number 2. What? I think there is only one important thing, perhaps, and it more than anything is the reminder of the order of things in nature, so to speak. That's what we can find in this one verse of the canto, let's say. The what are the things that possess the most importance? Like, instead of the subsets, theory of subsets, things that exist possess not only the things that are contained within the category, but also in a way, instead of most existing categories, there is a particular way in which you can order it so that you end up having one particular part of that subset that matters more than others. In this case, you end up seeing stuff like that. Inside of the category of the heat givers, the sun is the most important one. Inside of all the humans, the Brahmana is the most important one. Instead of all the serpents, the Cobra is the most important one. Inside the things of energy, fire is the most important, and such. You can basically read all of this if you want, but that's the only quote unquote important part of this. I don't think there is anything else of importance. Uh, yeah, at the least not that I could see. So we can probably continue simply. Uh, yeah. Continuing. Moving on. Canto number 3. Pandava Pravesha Parva continued. By Sampayana said, Arjuna falls silent and Yudhishthira addresses another of his brothers. Yudhishthira says, Gentle Kshatriya Nakula, your tender nature deserves a life of ease. What career will you follow whilst living in the dominions of King Virata? Tell me what you plan. Nakula says, I will take the name Granthika and become the keeper of the king's horses. I have a deep knowledge of horses. I am skillful in caring for them and enjoy the work. I am good at training them and very fond of them, even as you are. Oh, my brother, in my hands, even high-spirited colts and fillies become docile and carry their riders and draw their chariots tenderly. And if anyone in Birata city should ask about me, I will say that I was once employed by Yudhishthira and given charge of his stables. In this disguise, Rahan, I will spend my days happily in the city of Birata. No one will discover my true identity, for I will please the king with my work. Yudhishthira says, how will you, Sahadeva, present yourself before the king, and what will you do, child, in order to go undiscovered? Sahadeva replies, Rahan, I will become a keeper of Birata's cattle. I am skilled at milking cows and know all about their pedigrees, and I am also good at taming bulls. I will call myself Tantrapala and perform my duties ably. Let your anxiety be stilled. Bhumipala, I used to look after your herds and have deep knowledge of the work. I know a great deal about cattle. There are markings and also materials about them. I can recognize bulls with certain auspicious marks. The scent of whose urine can make a barren woman fertile. I have always enjoyed this work, so that is how I will live. I will please the king, and certainly no one will recognize me. Yudhishthira says, Draupadi is our beloved wife, dearer to us than our lives. She deserves to be cherished by us like a mother and respected as an elder sister. Unacquainted as she is with any womanly chores, what service will Krishna perform, delicate and young? She is a princess whose virtue and devotion to her lords is well known. How will she live? Who from the time of her birth has enjoyed nothing but fragrant flower garlands and perfume, ornaments and fine clothes? Draupadi says there is a class of women known as Sairandharis who serve as important waiting maids. Usually, women from respectable families do not become Sairandharis, but some do. I will pose as one of these few. I shall be a Sairandhari skilled in dressing hair, and if questioned, I will say that I serve in the Yudhishthira's household as Draupadi's main waiting woman, and in this way, I will pass my days in disguise, serving the famous Sudeshna, King Virata's queen. Surely she will be pleased with my services. Do not grieve so, Rahan. Yudhishthira says, Krishna, your words are sweet, but beautiful one. You're born into royalty, chaste and always true to your vows. You have always lived a virtuous life and do not know what sin is. Therefore, conduct yourself in such a way that sinful men may not cast their eyes on you for their pleasure. Simple enough. That's canto number 3. Okay. Okay. Incredibly short, that one. Message? Incredibly great question. I don't see anything. I think that one of the few ideas existing here is the idea of, oh yeah, the capacity for this person, in this case, for Draupadi, who is the woman of the Pandavas, to demonstrate that she can, besides having been always from a royal bloodline, surviving her own. Once again, it simply traces back on what we explained before. This is just the challenge comes from the exile in this last year. They have to abandon all their other worldly possessions, even their, in a way, most important one, that is their own identity of self, to become someone completely different so that they can survive. So it should not go unpraised to see that, yeah, they are doing their best to make sure that they are not carrying with themselves anything that could block their success. So it's an abandonment of all their pride when they choose what they will embody so that they completely pass or go unnoticed, so to speak. This last year, it only is more emphasized here because, yeah, Draupadi has not been. It does come from the Hindu tradition more than anything else. The whole concept of because Draupadi is who she is, unavoidably she hasn't traversed as many difficulties as the Pandavas themselves. So it is understandable that she should give a sufficient enough answer so that it demonstrates that she can survive something as difficult as this, while also carrying that on that final part of the discussion plays a huge role also in the analysis of this, because it gives a little bit more of information in terms of, oh yeah, and you know what also happens? She needs to remember that she has to stay loyal to her five husbands. So that's why it also is necessary for them to repeat such a thing already. But yeah, I think that's it basically. Not much else to add besides that. So let me drink something and after that we continue. Taking into consideration how short this cantos are, we're kinda yeah, we're kinda moving fast through them, I would say. It's I guess good. I wouldn't actually call it a bad, yeah, yeah. It's useful to see that we are moving through them at a good pace. Let's say it like that. So, starting with Canto 4, Pandava Pravesha Parva continued. Yudhishthira says, "We have all decided how to occupy yourselves sensibly, and I have too. Our priest, the charioteers and cooks must go to Drupada's palace and keep our sacrificial fires burning. Indrasena and the others will take the chariots and leave at once for Javarati. Draupadi's mates can go to the Panchalas with the Saratis and Orcooks. All of them must say that they do not know where the Pandavas went after leaving them at the lake in Dvaitavana. Now the Pandavas ask Damya for his counsel. Damya says, Sons of Pandu, the arrangements you have made for the Brahmanas, your friends, the chariots, weapons, and the sacred fires are excellent. But Yudhishthira and Arjuna, you must be particularly watchful of Draupadi's safety. You know what men are like. However knowledgeable you are, as your friend, I I take the liberty of telling you what you already know, which is in the eternal interest of Dharma, Kama, and Artha. Listen to me carefully, and remember my words. To live in the court of a king is difficult, but I will tell you how you can be ideal members of a royal household. Oh, Gurunandanas, you must somehow spend this year in the palace without being discovered. Only thus will you be able to peacefully live out the final year of your exile. Pandavas, the king under whose protection everyone comes, is God in human form. He is like a far sanctified from mantras. First of all, only present yourselves before the king after obtaining permission at the gate. None of you should have any contact with the royal spies, nor should any of you try to have a court position that someone else aspires to. If you find the king's favor, you must never use the king's personal chariot, sit on his throne, or ride on his elephant. Also, avoid important positions whose occupation alarms envious and malevolent men. Only conducting yourselves thus will you deserve to live in the king's household. Offer the king advice only when he asks for it. Praise and pay homage to him at the appropriate time. At other times, sit silently and respectfully beside him. Kings get annoyed with babblers and courtiers who speak ill of others. Be wise. Don't initiate friendship with the queen or ladies of the Antapura, or with anyone that the king dislikes. Whatever you do must be with the king's knowledge, and you must be willing to perform even the most trivial task for him. If you behave in this way, you will not come to any harm. Even if one of you attains the highest office, you should always uphold the king's dignity by your silence. Consider yourself born blind unless you are commanded by him. Parantapas, if their pride is wounded, the rulers of men do not forgive even their sons, grandsons, and brothers. Kings should be served with the same attentiveness with which you serve Agni and the other devas. If you are disloyal to your sovereign, he will destroy you. Renounce anger. Ride and in discretion, and always be obedient to the king. After a careful study of various matters at hand, present to the king only those that are both beneficial and gratifying. If there happens to be something that is definitely beneficial, you must tell the king of it, even if it is unpleasant. You must always put the interests of the king first and never speak offensively or unnecessarily. Be alert and never become complacent in the king's affection. Always focus on his happiness and prosperity. Remain steadfast and do not swerve from your allegiance to him. Do not befriend the king's enemies. Never wrong the king. This is the way to succeed in a royal household. A wise man sits beside the king, on his right or left. He should not sit behind him, for that is the place for his armed guards, and to sit in front of him is for a villain. None of you should ingratiate yourselves with the king by intervening while he is dealing with his subjects' grievances. Even if this supplicant is poor and needy, such behavior is inexcusable. Never reveal a falsehood that the king may have spoken, because the king will hate those who expose his lies. Remember that kings distrust men who show themselves as being clever. You should not be vain about your bravery or intelligence. You will earn the monarch's respect and enjoy a prosperous life by being humble and subservient to the king's wishes and Bharatas, even when you acquire wealth, which is not easy, and lead a comfortable life, you shall continue to work towards the king's advantage and pleasure. Which man who is held in high regard will even think of displeasing the one whose anger results in the worst failure and whose favor brings greater rewards? You should always sit still in the king's presence, speak mildly, and use your spittoon softly when you are with the king. Do not laugh loudly or um- uproariously, nor be unnaturally grave when you see something amusing. Show your interest by smiling discreetly. If you're always conscious of the king's welfare, if you do not allow rewards to elate you or sorrows to dissect you, then you will thrive in the king's court. If you are wise and make the king and his princess happy by speaking pleasantly, you will become the king's favorite, and if, as the favorite courtier, you shall then lose royal favor for a good reason, yet still do not speak ill of the king, you will regain it in time. If you are astute, you will speak only in praise of the king, both in his presence and out of it. If you manipulate the king in order to achieve your own objective, you will jeopardize your position in court and risk death. Never initiate communications with the king's enemies with a view to furthering yourself. You shall never try to best the king at any skill or talent. Be cheerful and mild-mannered, honest, strong, and courageous, but live in the king's shadow. These qualities will make you worthy of living in the royal household. When you're given a responsibility, accept it readily. This will make you deserving of living in the king's palace. If you are entrusted with a task, either within or outside the king's dominion, undertake it boldly, for then you will deserve to live in the royal household. Although you are far away from home. Do not show your grief at the absence of loved ones. Show that you are willing to endure deprivation in expectation of future happiness. This is how you will succeed in living in the king's household. You shall not address as grandly as the king. You shall not laugh loudly in his presence. You shall never divulge royal secrets. This is how you will win the king's favor. You shall never be tempted by bribes to complete work that is assigned to you. This could lead to imprisonment, even death. You shall always use the clothes, jewels, and chariots that, in his magnanimity, the king gives you. This will please him. My children, Pandavas, discipline yourselves during this year. Once you regain your kingdom, you can live as you please. Yudhishthira says to Damya, you have tutored us well. Oh, Damya, may you be blessed. No one could have advised us as you have, other than our mother Kunti and the wise Vidura. Now you must perform the needful ceremonies for our departure to help us come safely through our difficulties and finally to vanquish our enemies. Damya, the best of Brahmanas, performs the proper rites of leave-taking. He lights the fires and offers oblations accompanied by mantras. He prays for the prosperity and success of the Pandavas and for the reconquest of the world. The Pandavas walking Pradakshina around the sacred Agni and the holy Brahmana, and set out with Yagnaseni at the head of their little procession of Sikhs. When the noble Kshatriyas have left, Damya takes their sacred fires and sets out for the Panchala kingdom. Indrasena and the others go to the Yadavas and live there in contentment, looking after the Pandavas' horses and chariots. And that's canto number 4, I think. Yeah. So, what is this canto about? I think it's not that complicated. The message is quite obvious. In a way, it's the idea of, you know what? All of these things are the best things to do if you want to be. Not. The concept is, particularly for the Pandavas, how it is being expressed. I don't think that anybody could come to disagree to the idea of, yeah. This can very much be extracted. You can remove all the mentions of any particular person, and you can understand that this is a general ruling about how to act towards kings. It's how here. I will tell you how you can be ideal members of a royal household. It's as simple as that. That's what this canto is about. All the rules that any member of a royal household should follow if they want to be good enough. You could say that in a way these serve as now established rules for what a proper participant in the king's affair has to do so that they remain within their position, and how to ensure that they do so, and how to ensure that they might even get to reach even higher positions. So yeah, that's the basic concept. There is nothing else here. Not that I can see. I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's just a basic explanation of how to be a good servant and how to be a proper follower of the king. It does have some degree of myth behind it. Out, oh yeah, the king is your god. But all of that we could not exactly ignore, just omit in terms of accepting that it is there, but at least it doesn't take that much of a central role. It does. There are some things that it said that I didn't actually like that much personally, in terms of, oh yeah, if you upset the king, you risk getting the maximum degree of punishment besides death itself. And it's sort of strange to see. I feel like the idea was for this canto to be directed. Damya was the one who was giving Yudhishthira an understandable approach towards the completion of their tasks within the royal household. Why would you need to remind somebody who was already perhaps even the most important king in this history so far? How can you tell him such an obvious notion like, oh yeah, you know what, this thing that happens here is what matters and what everyone also should try to care about, and what not? I feel like it kinda, I will say, yeah, it's a dangerous word, but I don't find it that out of place. It could be very much a simple mode of indoctrination, so to speak, more than any other thing. I don't know. I don't. I just cannot truly sympathize with this one canto particularly. It's why it's like way too much redundancy about how to be a good servant. When they, isn't it like a given nature of them that they are, in a way, some of the best humans to ever exist, some of the best kshatriyas to ever exist? Why do they need to get reminded how to be good servants if that is part of their nature? They are not servants of other humans as much, but they still know how to serve their gods, they know how to serve Brahmanas. It doesn't change that much for a king. Anyway, I guess continuing, we are on canto number 5. Pandava Parapseha Parva continued. But Sampayana said, the princes strapped their swords around their waist, put on their lizard skin finger guards, and armed themselves with their other weapons, closing the chapter of their life in dense forest and inaccessible mountain ranges. Impatient to end their exile and recover their kingdom, the mighty warriors stride towards the southern bank of the river Kalindi. Those Kshatriyas, who have been living like forest-dwelling deer hunters, pass through Yakriloma and Surasena. They pass the Panchala kingdom on the right and the Dasarna kingdom on the left, now pale and bearded from their years. In the forest, they finally emerge from it and enter the Matsya kingdom, still in the guise of hunters. Here Krishna says to Yudhishthira, "Oh, look at these footpaths and fields. It seems the city is still some distance away. I am tired. Let us break our journey and spend the night here." Yudhishthira says, "Arjuna, carry Panchala in your arms. We have just this forest to cross and we shall arrive at the city." Like the bull elephant of the herd, Arjuna picks Draupadi up in his arms and sets her down only when they near the city. On reaching the city, Yudhishthira says to Arjuna, "Where shall we leave our weapons before we enter? If, my brother, we go in armed, we will cause alarm. Also, everyone will recognize the Gandiva, and it will not take them long to know who we are. Remember that if even one of us is discovered, by your oath we must pass another 12 years in the forest." Arjuna says, "Close to that Smasana you see over there, near that steep hill, is a huge cemetery, difficult to climb because of its wildly spreading branches. Nobody will see us hiding our weapons there, or discover them when they are hidden. Pandava, the tree stands in the heart of a remote forest full of predators and crawling with snakes, and the gloomy cemetery is right beside it. Let us store our weapons in the cemetery and then, without anxiety, go to Virata's city." Saying this to Yudhishthira, Arjuna prepares to conceal the weapons in the tree. He loosens the string of the great and dreadful Gandiva, the bow whose trunks fills the air like thunder, which raises enemies, with which Arjuna has single-handedly conquered Devas, Manavas, Nagas, and entire kingdoms. Then Yudhishthira unties the wondrous and decaying string of his bow, with which he defended Kurukshetra, and the illustrious, pure-hearted Bhimasena unstrings his bow, with which he defeated the Panchalas and the Lord of Sindhu, with which he singly opposed countless enemies who only had to hear the deafening mountain-splitting sound of his weapon to make them flee in panic from the battlefield. Nakula, the copper-skinned, soft-spoken son of Pandu, named for his exceptional handsomeness, unfastens the string of his bow, with which he conquered all the western lands. The heroic but mild-mannered Sahadeva undoes the string of his bow, with which he subjugated the southern countries. With the bows, They blazed their flashing swords and quivers of razor-sharp arrows. Nebula climbs the tree and fastens this armory in it. Hang the weapons securely on high sturdy branches sheltered from the rain. The Pandavas take a corpse from the nearby cemetery and hang it from the cemetery, knowing that anyone who even whiffs the stench of rotting flesh will avoid that place. Just at that time, some cowherds happen to pass by and ask about the corpse. The Pandavas say to them, "This is our mother, who was 108 years old. We have hung her body from the tree, according to our ancient custom." At last, those slayer of their foes approach the city. Yudhishthira gives himself and his brothers other names to be part of their disguise. Haya, Hayanta, Bikaya, Hayatsena, and Hayatvala. They go towards the great city to pass the 13th year of their exile undiscovered. As they bowed, they walked to Duryodhana. That's Canto number 5. Okay, is there anything? I don't find anything important here. I would be actually lying if I had to say that. I think una buena enough the obvious lesson is something along the lines of, oh yeah, we are talking about the value of not being easily discovered, but that's the most surface level observation that can be done. Out of that, there is nothing actually important being said or done. It's just, oh yeah, you know what? We have literally some of the most important weapons in all of history with us. What if we hide them so that other people don't realize that we actually are most probably related to the owners of said weapons? Or at least make sure that nobody can see that we have anything to do with such things if they were to be found out. So yeah, that's logical enough. I don't know. The only there is one tiny alarm that I have in my mind going in terms of the way in which it was expressed. I I think it has like that sensation of, yeah, you know what will be like an easy trope to make later on. At some point, the king of the place which they are going to says, I have heard that in this particular tree there is something very special, and also the stench of a dead body fills the air. Can you please go and have a look at it? And if you find anything, give me that. And I don't know, give them a whole moral conundrum and make the Pandavas think if what they are doing is moral or immoral. I don't know. That's the only thing that I see, but that's like more a narrative analysis. So continuing. No, I lied. Before continuing, let me drink water. Okay. Canto number 6. Pandava Pravesha Parva continued. Vasampayana said, as he nears Virata's city, Yudhishthira meditates on the divine Devi Durga and salutes her in praise. She is the supreme goddess of the universe, born from the womb of Yasoda, fond of the boons bestowed on her by Narayana, sprang from the race of the cowherd Nanda, giver of prosperity, enhancer of the glory of his Bhaktas, nemesis of Kamsa, destroyer of Asuras, she who flew into the deepest skies when Kamsa dashed her against a rock, is Krishna's sister. She is adorned in celestial garlands and attired in heavenly raiment. She is armed with sword and shield. This eternal bestower of blessings always rescues the devotee who, when stuck and drowning like a cow in a quagmire, calls out to her in distress to free him. It is she that Yudhishthira invokes in his yearning to see her. by chanting her various names in praise and devotion. Yudhishthira says, "Salutations, O giver of boons, you are one with Krishna, Devi Brahmacharini. You have observed the vow of Brahmacharya. Your being blazes like the sun at dawn. Your face is as radiant as the full moon. I salute you. For-handed, for-faced, round-hipped, and deep-breasted, you wear bangles made of emeralds and sapphires, and exquisite bracelets adorn your upper arms. You shine, O goddess, as Padma, the consort of Narayana. You that roam the Agasa, your form and chastity are immaculate. Your face, as dark as black clouds, is beautiful like Sankarsana. Your two great arms you hold upright in praise of Indra. In your six other arms you hold a vessel, a lotus, a bell, a noose, a bow, a discus, and myriad weapons. I salute you. You are the only truly pure female being in the universe. Your shapely ears are adorned with rings. Oh, Devi, the radiance of your face challenges the moon in luster, wearing a wondrous crown with braided hair, in snakeskin robes and glittering waistlet. You shine like snake-girdled Mount Mandara. Iridescent peacock feathers decorate your head. You have sanctified Devaloka with your vow of celibacy. O slave of Mahishasura, you are praised and worshipped by the Devas themselves for the protection of the three worlds, Swarga, Bhumi, and Patala. I salute you, fairest of all deities. Give me your grace, show me your mercy, and bless me. You are Haya and Bihaya. It is you who gives victory in battle. Grant me victory and boons, O Devi, in this my hour of distress. I salute you. You are this resplendent in your eternal abode of Vindhya Parvatam, best of mountains. O Kali, Kali, Mahakali, wine, meat, and animal sacrifice please you. You who can go anywhere at will, you who can bestow boons on your devotees. Brahma and the other gods are always with you on these journeys. There is nothing that cannot be had. Children or wealth, by supplicants who call upon you for relief from their burdens, and by those who bow to you at daybreak on earth. You are called Durga because you rescue those who are in distress, whether they are in a wilderness of sinking in a wilderness or sinking in an ocean. You are the sole refuge of men when they are attacked by robbers, when they flounder in rivers and seas, when they are oppressed in the wilderness and evil forests. Mahadevi, great goddess, men who meditate on you are never struck down. I salute you. You are Kirti, fame, Sari, prosperity, Dhariti, constancy, Siddhi, success, Nira, modesty, Vidya, learning, your man's wife and his offspring, your knowledge and intellect, your Sandhya, the two twilights, Ratri, the dark night, Pravha, light, Nidra, sleep, and Yotsna Kanti, the light of the sun and the moon. Your Kshama, forgiveness, Daya, mercy, and every virtue besides. From those who worship you, you remove their fetters of ignorance, childlessness, poverty, disease, death, and fear. I, who have been deprived of my kingdom, beg for your protection. I worship you with bowed head. Sureshwari, goddess of the gods of light, O Devi, Padmapatrakshi, lotus leaf-eyed one, watch over me, O Durga. To us who uphold Dharma by your actions, be truth incarnate and the granter of wishes in your compassion for all who seek a refuge in you, in your love for your devotees. Give me your protection. Hearing these studies, the goddess appears before Yudhishthira and says, O Rahan, Mahabaho, hearken to me. My grace will help you vanquish the Kaurava army and will give you victory in battle. You will again be lord of the earth and rid her of evil, and through my grace, you and your brothers will enjoy great felicity. Every joy and prosperity will be yours. All who chant praises of my attributes and victories shall be freed from their sins and made happy. I will bless them with lands, long life, physical beauty, and children. They who invoke me as you have done, be they in exile or in their homes, in the midst of battle or in unseen danger from their enemies, in forests or in deserts, in seas or on mountains, will want for nothing in this world. Pandava. Those who devotedly recite this powerful hymn of yours, or even listen to it, will ensure success in all that they do. My grace will ensure that neither the Kaurava spies nor the people of the Matsya kingdom will recognize you all as long as you live in Virata's city. Having spoken to Yudhishthira Parantapa and having granted her protection to the Pandavas, the goddess Durga disappears. And that's Canto, I don't even know, 6? Yeah. I just realized something. I feel like it shouldn't have taken me this long. I might be dumb, but yeah, there is something interesting about all of these phrases that I finally made this synaptic connection of, oh wow, how does it say it here? Those who devotedly recite this powerful hymn of yours, or even listen to it, will enjoy success in all that they do. It is repeated throughout the story at this point, probably like 100 times. We have already read something like that. The Mahabharata also contains many chants for the gods. It should have no use. It wasn't for me, sorry. I just realized that there are hymns given to the gods and praises. What's prayers? That's the word that I was looking for. What we will call here prayers for God. In this case, all the other hymns con- concocted by the by different characters. It's not only by the Pandavas. I once again, I just realized it shouldn't have taken me this long. But yeah, that's the only important thing. I don't know. I never in my life have heard about Durga, so I have no clue who this deity is. But at the same time, it's like expecting me, expecting anyone to actually know all the pantheon of gods that the Hinduism possesses, kinda complicated. So weird. Uh, is there anything important? I don't know. I don't think so. Most no, yeah. This entire canto was spent on talking about how they give no how is it? By some point. No. Yudhishthira gives praise to the deity. So yeah, that's the only thing that happens in the entire text. And then, oh yeah, you eat your wounds because you did your prayers. Wow. So yeah, uh, moving on, I guess. Moving on? Yeah. Moving on. Now for real. Continuing. Canto number 7. Pandava Pravesha Parva continued. Vasampayana said, Yudhishthira wraps in what? Embrocated his dice of gold set with blue sapphires, tucks it under his arm, and walks towards Virata's court. This illustrious lord of men, noble scion of Kuru, honored by kings, mighty, irrepressible, as deserving of wariness as a venomous snake, a bull among men, powerful and beautiful, blessed with greatness and godlike in form, is now like the sun shrouded by thick clouds, like fire covered by ashes, when he appears before the famed King Virata in his court. Virata and his courtiers see Yudhishthira looking like the full moon veiled by clouds, his face as radiant as Somadevas. The king says to his ministers, the Brahmanas, the Maharajas, and the Vaisyas in his court, "Who is this kingly man who enters my sabha? He cannot be a Brahmana. He looks like a lord among men, a lord of the earth. He has no slaves, chariots, or elephants with him, yet he has the majesty of Indra. I think the marks on his body indicate that he has been crowned at a sacred rite. He approaches me boldly, much like an elephant walking towards a bed of lotuses." Yudhishthira comes before Virata and says, "Maharajan, I am a Brahmana. I have lost all my possessions and come to beg you for the means to sustain myself. O Anakya, I will live here and serve you faithfully, my lord." The king is pleased and replies, "You are welcome here. Consider yourself appointed to whatever position you seek." Happily, he gives Yudhishthira the appointment he asked for and says, "I ask you in affection, what kingdom do you come from? What is your name? Which family do you belong to? What skills and knowledge do you have?" Yudhishthira says, "My name is Kanka, and I am a Brahmana belonging to the Vayakara family. I am good at throwing dice, and I was once a friend of Dharmaputra Yudhishthira's." Virata says, "I will grant you whatever you wish. You can even rule the Matsyas, and I will be your subject. I like gamblers, even cunning ones. You, on the other hand, are like a deva and deserve not a mere position in my court, but an entire kingdom." Yudhishthira says, "My first request, Lord of Earth, is that my place should not be disputed by any low-born man. Further, I will give my winnings at dice. Whosoever I play against, honor me by granting me these wishes." Virata says, "I will kill anyone who crosses you. If he be a Brahmana, I will banish him from my kingdom. Let all that are assembled here mark my words. From this day, Kanka is as much lord of this realm as I am. Kanka, you will be my companion and ride with me in my chariot. You will not lack for clothes. You shall have abundant food and drink. You will supervise my transactions, both at home and abroad, and for you my doors will be always open. When the destitute or self-seekers approach you, you will inform me immediately, whatever the hour, and I will help them. As long as you live with me, you need have no fear." Having received these assurances from Virata, Yudhishthira settles down to a happy life and quickly earns the respect of all, and during that time, no one suspects who he is. You're telling me that we're going to speedrun this whole experience? I guess. I guess. It's fine. Anyway. Canto number 8. Pandava Pravesha Parava continued. By Sampayana said, "In a short while, another of blazing beauty and strength came before Virata, holding a cook's ladle, a spoon, and a gleaming and sheathed sable-hued sword in his hand. Well, he walks toward the king like a lion. Even in the guise of a cook, he lights up the court like the sun shining on the world at daybreak. This man, strong as Himavat king of mountains, dressed in black, comes forward and stands at a small remove from the king of the Matsyas. Virata looks at this regal and says to his courtiers, "Who is this extraordinarily handsome young man with the shoulders of a lion? With this Manavarishapha? The stranger is like the resplendent sun. Try as I might, I do not recognize him and cannot guess why he is here. His appearance suggests that he is either the king of the Gandharvas or Purandara himself. Find out who he is and let his wishes be granted at once." Virata's messengers go quickly up to Vimasena and give him the king's message. The noble Pandava approaches Virata and says in a cook's humble way, "Oh, best of kings, I am a cook. My name is Balava, and my skill lies in cooking the most exotic dishes. I beg you, employ me in your kitchen." Birata says, I cannot believe, Palava, that cooking is your true calling. You resemble Indra 2009. Your strength, beauty, and grace make you seem like a king. Bhima replies, King of kings, first and foremost, I am your cook and servant, but in truth it is not only cooking that I am an expert at. Although I used to prepare food for Yudhishthira himself at one time, Lord of the Earth, I am also a wrestler. There is no one as strong as me. I can fight lions and elephants. Oh, Anakya, I will and entertain you otherwise. Virata says, I will grant your wish. You may have the soul you ask for, since you say you are skilled at it. Yet I do not think that this is work worthy of you. You deserve the earth with her gilder of seas, but it shall be as you wish. You will oversee my kitchens and have authority over everyone there. Once he establishes once he is established in the kitchen, Mima soon becomes the favorite of King Virata. He continues to live there unrecognized by the servants and others of the guard. That's... what is this, Canto 8? Ah, yeah. I don't know. Do I have any particular thought about this? Not really. This feels like an incredibly dry part of the text, actually. That's my thought. And also, I do have a question. Are we going to like actually speedrun this whole process? It feels incredibly unnatural, and I don't like that. Out of nowhere, wow, no way. Okay, yeah, wow. We're actually going to do that. Amazing, I guess. Every single one of the cantos is incredibly short. They contain no idea. Wonderful. Me, when the text is basic as fuck. Anyway, I guess continuing. Also, yeah, we haven't lagged. What a wonderful day when things go your way. Continuing. Canto number 9. Pandava Pravesha Parva continued. Vasampayana said, her incomparable hair, fine, soft, long and black, ending in curls, is plated. Dark-eyed, dark-skinned body of this smile throws her braid over her right shoulder and conceals it under the end of her upper cloth. As befitting her guise of a Sairandari, she is dressed in just a single piece of ground, but old black cloth. She wanders here and there inside the palace grounds in apparent distress. Seeing her drifting aimlessly, men and women hurry to her side and ask, Who are you, and what are you looking for? And she says, I am a royal Sairandari. I am looking for someone whom I can serve, who will take care of me. So lovely is she, so rich her clothes, so sweet her speech, that people cannot believe she is a maid servant in search of a shop. While looking out from her terrace, Virata's beloved queen, the king of Kekaya's daughter, happens to notice Draupadi. Seeing her forlorn appearance and shabby attire, Queen Sudeshna calls out to her, "Oh, Sundari, beautiful one, who are you, and what do you want?" Draupadi answers, "Foremost of queens, I am a Sairatri, willing to serve anyone who will take care of me." Sudeshna says, "What you say does not match the beauty I see. You might well be the mistress of servants rather than a servant yourself. Your heels are slim, your tights are rounded, and your navel is deep. You seem intelligent and your words are solemn. Your body is both young and exquisite. Your toes, breast and hips, your back and sides, your toenails, your palms, the palms of your hands, the sole of your feet are the color of the deep red wild rose. Your voice is sweet like a swan's. Your hair is lovely. Your breasts are shapely and graceful, like a Kashmiri mare. You bear the marks of lofty lineage. You have Curl eyelashes, pink lips, a slender waist, a neck with conch-like lines, delicate bends, and a face like the full moon. Your eyes are like lotus leaves. Your body is fragrant, like the lotus blossom. Indeed, you look like Lakshmi, whose best loved seed is that autumnal flower. Tell me who you are, incomparable one. You cannot be a Sairantari. Are you a Yakshi, a Devi, a Gandharvi, or an Apsara? Are you the daughter of a Deva, or are you a Nagina? Perhaps you are the guardian goddess of some city, a Vidyadhari, or a Kinari? Are you Rohini herself, or are you Aram Alambusha or Misrakesi, Pundarika or Malini or Indra Deva's queen, or Varunas, or are you the wife of Visvakarma, or the consort of Lord Vishnu himself, or these goddesses who are celebrated in Devaloka, which are you, most graceful one? Draupadi says, Revered Queen, I am neither a goddess nor a Gandharvi, neither a Yakshi nor a Rakshasi. I am truly a maidservant of the Thairanari class. I know how to dress a royal lady's hair. I can make fragrant lotions and colorful malas of jasmines, lotuses, blue lilies, and champakas. At one time, I served Krishna's beloved queen, Satyambhava, and I was once maid to Draupadi, most beautiful of Kurus, and the wife of the Pandavas. I wander about alone now, living as long as I can in any place where I can earn a good meal and fine clothes in exchange for my services. Draupadi used to call me Malini, maker of garlands. Sudarshana says, I would so love to take you into my care and pamper you if it were not for the anxiety that the king may lose his heart to you. Even the women and maids of the Antapura are drawn by your beauty and cannot take their eyes off you. What man could resist you? Surely, exquisite one of rounded hips, my husband Virata will see your supernatural loveliness and forsake me for you. You of the perfect limbs, whose large eyes cast darting sidelong glances, any man you look at with desire will be struck by love. You of the sweet smiles and the perfect body, he whose eyes linger on you will be seared by desire, like the man who risks his life by climbing a lofty tree. Even as the calf conceives her young ones, who will kill her by their beard, I may destroy myself by giving you a home. Draupadi says, Lovely Devi, neither Virata nor any other man will have me, for my 5 Gandharva husbands, sons of a powerful Gandharva king, protect me. No one can injure or dishonor me. My husbands have forbidden me to work for anyone who makes me wash their feet, and I am not allowed to eat food from another's plate. Any man who attempts to have me like a common woman will die that very night. My beloved and mighty Gandharvas protect me silently and at all times. Sudarshana says, You who gladdens hearts, if that is the way of it, I will take you into my household, and you shall not be required to touch food that has been served to another person, nor wash another's feet. Haramihaya, with these words of Queen Sudarshana, Krishna, devoted to her husbands, begins her life in the city of Virata. And no one knows who she really is. Wow, and that's canto number 9. Yeah. I do feel like these are perhaps the most heartless cantos in a long while. There is not that much to actually analyze, it's just, oh no, yeah. These methods that everyone uses to try and prove that they are worthy of being accepted into such places. I think from a narrative standpoint, the only thing that gets to matter to some degree is the reality of wow, yeah. Because the Pandavas got so many boons to ensure that they actually succeed in their task, perhaps that can be the redeeming quality of how they are actually being accepted. Because otherwise, the narration keeps being wow, yeah. This incredibly astounding human being presents itself in the court of a country bumpkin kind of king out of nowhere and asks the king or the queen to give them a position of power. And for some random reason, they say, yeah, it's fine. You can come work with us if that's what you want. When unavoidably, even their own senses are being described as getting activated by such presences. I don't know, man. We're not here to literary critique or analysis of any sort, so yeah, moving on. Me when the narrative is not as solid. Continuing. Canto number 10. Pandava Pravesha Parva continued. My Sampayana said, Sahadeva, dressed like a cowherd and speaking in Yadava dialect, makes his way to King Virata's cowsheds, amazed to see this splendid bull among men. Virata instructs his men to summon the disguised Pandava to his presence. When Sahadeva appears before him, the king says, Whose service are you in, and where do you come from? What work are you looking for? I have never seen you before. Purushari Savka, tell me about yourself. That the distresser of his foes, Sahadeva, stands before the king, and in a voice as deep as thunder says, I am Vaisya, and my name is Tanemi. I serve those bulls of the Kuru race, the Pandavas, as a cowherd. But I want to live in your service now, Purushadama, because I no longer know where those lions among kings are, the sons of Parita. I need a livelihood, and I do not want to work for anyone but you. Virata says to him, You must either be a Brahmana or a Kshatriya. You look as if you are Lord of all Bhumi and her seeds. Be honest with me. You who mow down your foes. The work of a Vaisya is not fit for you. Whose kingdom do you come from? What knowledge and skills do you have? In what capacity would you like to stay here with us? And what payment will you accept? Sahadeva says, Yudhishthira, the eldest of Pandu's 5 sons, has many herds of cattle. One numbers 10,800 heads, one numbers 10,000, another is 20,000 strong, and I have tend all those cows and bulls. People call me Tantripala. I know the pedigrees of all cows living within 10 Yohanas. Raja Yudhishthira was familiar with my gunas, and he was very pleased with me. I also know how to increase the fertility of cows and how to prevent the diseases. I can distinguish bulls that have the auspicious marks that make them worthy of worship by men, and by the scent of whose urine barren women can conceive. Virata says, I have 100,000 cattle divided into separate herds. I give you charge of them all, and their keepers too will be under your authority. Henceforth, my livestock will be in your care. From this day, Sahadeva lives contentedly in the Matsya kingdom, working for Virata, his true identity unknown to the king or anyone else, except his brothers. So true, so unexpected. At the least, okay. What I can say is, at the very least, taking into consideration how much blank space every single page ends up having, we are rushing through the book at this space. Why did they choose that? No clue. But okay, continuing. Canto 11. Pandava Pravesha Parva continued. Vasampayana continued. The next to appear at the gate of the palace ramparts is a great and exquisitely beautiful man, decked in woman's ornaments. What? He wears large earrings and the finest conch shell bracelets set in gold. He has powerful arms, and his long, lush hair tumbles about his neck. He walks with the graceful gait of an elephant, and he makes the earth tremble as he comes into the Savga and stands before Virata. Seeing the illustrious son of Indra, Arjuna Parantapa, disguised as a eunuch, entered the sabha with his magnificent gait and walked towards him. The king says to his courtiers, "Where does this person come from? I do not recognize him." And when the courtiers say they do not know who the stranger is, the king says to Arjuna in wonderment, "You look amazingly strong, like a deva, and your mutant dark skin make you look like a bull elephant, the leader of a herd, wearing your seashell and gold bangles and earrings, decked with flower garlands, and with your soft hair, you shimmer like a fully armed Kshatriya in his chariot. I am old and want to give up my burden of kingship. Be like a son to me and share my burden, or even rule the kingdom of the Matsyas by yourself, as I do now. You are surely some great man and not a eunuch." Arjuna says, "I sing, dance, and play musical instruments. I do all this very well. Lord of men, send me to Princess Uttara to be her dance teacher. As to how I became a eunuch, is there any point in telling the story when the memory of it only brings me pain? Suffice it to say, O king, that I am Brihanala, son or daughter without father or mother." Virata says, "Brihanala, I will give you the position you asked for. Teach my daughter and the other princesses to dance. To me, however, this occupation seems too lowly for you. You deserve the earth and her girdle of seeds." The king of the Matsyas verifies Brihanala's gifts in dancing, music, and other fine arts by watching him perform. He consults his ministers and immediately sends Brihanala to be examined by women, who confirm that he is indeed a eunuch and quite impotent. Virata sends him to Princess Uttara's apartments. And there, Arjuna begins giving lessons in singing and instrumental music to the daughter of Virata, to her Sakhis and Sairantharis, and he captures their hearts. In this way, Arjuna lives confidently in disguise, enjoying the pleasure of the prince's company, and recognized both by those inside the palace and outside of it. Canto number 12. Sorry, we are done with the last canto. Wow. So, yeah, canto number 12. Pandava Pravesha Parva continue. My Sampayana said, after a few days, citizens of the Matsya kingdom see Nakula purposefully making his way towards King Virata's palace, looking like the sun pushing its way through the clouds. As he comes, he keenly inspects the horses he sees in the royal stables. Noticing this, the king of the Matsyas says to his entourage, "I wonder where this man who looks like a deva comes from. He looks so intently at my horses. He must be very knowledgeable about them. Bring him to me at once. He seems to be a Kshatriya, truly. He looks like a god." Splendid Nakula Parantapa goes up to the king and says, "Victory to you, O Rahan. May you be blessed. I am a horse trainer who has earned the respect of kings. I will look after your horses with great care." Virata says, "I will give you chariots, wealth, and spacious living quarters, and you shall have chariots of my stables. But first tell me, where do you come from? Who are you? And what brings you to my kingdom? What other skills do you have?" Nakula replies, "Bane of your enemies, I used to work for the eldest of the Pandavas, Yudhishthira. I was in charge of his stables. I am sensitive to horses' every mood and have mastered the art of breaking them in. I can calm wild or violent horses and know how to treat their diseases. No animal in my care becomes weak or ill. With my training, stallions and mares become docile. Everyone, including Yudhishthira, knows me as Granthika." Virata says, "From today I will put all the horses in my stables in your care. From now, all those who work in the stables and my charioteers as well shall be answerable to you. What remuneration will you accept for this? But you are kingly, almost godlike, and the occupation of an equerry is not worthy of you. You look like a king, and I am filled with respect for you. Your presence makes me as happy as if Yudhishthira himself was here. I wonder how he, who is so scrupulously principled, passes his time in the forest without anyone to serve him." From then on, Nakula, looking like a Kharava lord, is shown great respect by the delighted Virata, and by his conduct he makes himself well liked by everyone in the palace, and no one recognizes him while he lives under Virata's protection. In this way, the Pandavas, the very sight of whom is a blessing, live in the realm of the Matsyas with great forbearance in their time of distress. These lords of the earth and sea remain true to their pledge and pass their days unknown. Let's come to number 12. Uh, okay, true, that's the entire previous Parva. Uh, I actually we instantaneously move from one Parva to another twice in a row. I love it so much. Uh, it's I feel like I'm actually being like way too critical, but I don't know whatever. Me, when I am lived with the responsibility of writing the sacred text, and I decided to rush the most basic story instead of actually leaving any kind of concept behind. And there is no lesson. What do you gain from analyzing those previous cantos? Oh no, yeah. The Pandavas ended up unavoidably being part of a new kingdom. Wow. That's like what we have been talking for the last 1,000 pages, probably. They had to do that. We knew that they had to do that. You couldn't care to write a little bit more in detail what was going to happen then? Wow. But it's okay. I guess it's okay. So, we. I don't even know how much time have we been reading. Let me check. Not even 2 hours. We are good. We can. I don't know if an entire extra hour, but we could probably try to do like one. An extra handful of cantos, like let's say 10 are like way too much. 5, I guess, 5 or so, implying that they keep being this much meaningless. I hope they aren't. Thank you very much. So yeah, continuing. Canto 13. Samayapalana Parva. Hanamahaya said, "We're living disguised in the Matsya kingdom. What did the mighty Kuru princess do?" The Vikotama Vaisampayana replied, "Listen, O king, and I will tell you what those sons of Kuru do while they live disguised in the city of the Matsyas and serve that king. By the grace of Rishi Trinabindu and of the sublime Dharmadeva, the Pandavas continue to live in Virata city undiscovered and in peace. Virata and the other nobles find in their new quarter, Ganga, a most congenial companion, an expert in the intricacies of the game of dice. This son of Pandu orchestrates dice games according to his will and makes players sit in the gaming hall like a row of birds on a wire. Unknown to the king, Yudhishthira divides his winning amongst his brothers. Bhima sends Yudhishthira meat and other foods that he gets from the king. Arjuna distributes the used clothes that he is given in the Antapura of the palace. The Gopa what? Sorry, stop. The Gopa Sahadeva gives them milk, cards, and ghee. Nakula shares the wealth that the king rewards him with for managing his stables. Carefully staying away from the gates of men, forlorn Panchali keeps a watchful, loving eye on her husbands. Whilst taking care of its daughter, those mighty Kshatriyas live in Virata's capital, hidden from view as if they are once more in their mother's womb. Ever vigilant of danger from Duryodhana, the Pandavas continue to live in hiding and watch over their wife. 3 months pass, and the grand festival of Lord Brahma is celebrated with pomp in the country of the Matsyas. Athletes from all parts of Mahabharata arrive in their thousands, like hosts of devas flocking to the abode of Rama or of Shiva. They have mighty bodies and great strength, like the Kalakansa Asuras. Virata honors them and they are proud indeed of their strength and achievements. Their necks, shoulders, and waist are leonine. They are pure of body and heart and have already won many royal tournaments. Amongst them there is one, Himuta, who towers above the rest, and he challenges them all to a wrestling match. None dares approach him. As he proudly stalks the arena, seeing the dispirited wrestlers, the king of the Matsyas orders his head cook to meet the challenge. Bhima reluctantly agrees, since he cannot openly disregard the royal request. Balava, the cook, bows to the king and enters the capacious stadium, striding in with tigerish fearlessness. Then, to the delight of the spectators, the son of Kunti roars a challenge to the towering Himuta, whose strength and skill are as famed as the Ashura Britras. The awesome combatants are like two maddened bull elephants in their prime. Those tigers among men begin their wrestling match, each one determined to crush the other. The very first clash between them sounds like a thunderbolt striking a stony mountain. Delighted that they are evenly matched, each will take advantage of his opponent's slightest lapse. The excited adversaries are like elephants in mast. With clenched fists, they crush staggering blows into each other. They hurl each other away. Each slams the other onto the ground. Each holds the other down on the stadium floor. They get up again and squeeze each other's bodies in bone-crushing grips, in iron arms. With stunning punches, they throw each other off balance. Each grasps the other legs and whirls him round before ramming him onto the ground. Their open palms strike like thunderclaps. They shove the nails of taut fingers into each other's bodies like spearheads. They kick, they dash head against head, like the crash of granite against granite. To the endless delight of the spectators, the furious hand-to-hand combat of the two titans rages on, kept out by the strength of their arms and the energy of their minds and bodies. Rahan, all are absorbed by the contention between the two, who battle like Indra Deva and Beritasura, and they cheer them on with shouts of praise and applause. The two long-armed, mighty-chested wrestlers heave, thrust, hurl, strike with their knees, all while yelling taunts at each other. Their bare glistening arms are truly like spiked iron maces. Then, finally, Bhima roars like some unimaginable lion, and seizes his unyielding adversary as a lion does an elephant. He picks him up, holds him aloft, and as the spectators, athletes and citizens of Matsya watch in astonishment, he whirls him round and round over his head 100 times until Himuta is unconscious, and Mahabaho Brigodara smashes him to death on the arena floor. Virata and his friends rejoice at Himuta's defeat, and in the exuberance of his elation, the king rewards Valava with the legendary generosity of Kuvera. Bhima goes on to defeat and kill many other wrestlers, blessing the king enormously, and when there is no one left who dares face him, Virata makes him fight with tigers, lions and elephants, not only in the public arena, but also in the Antapura for the entertainment of the women of the harem. Arjuna sings and dances and, in his own way, entertains the king and those women of the inner apartments. Nakula gives the king's stables full of well-trained, swift horses for the king and his men. Virata is pleased and gives Nakula rich rewards. Seeing the Koshala filled with healthy bullocks and cows, Purusarisavka Virata makes gifts of all kinds of treasures to Sahadeva. And, O Rahan, Poor Draupadi sighs in constant distress at seeing her Kshatriya husband suffer. It is in this way that the illustrious exiles render services to King Virata and live in disguise in the Matsya kingdom. What is this canto? Hey, that's canto 13. Finally, some action at least. Wow. Some wonderful battling. Also, I like the picture, the mental picture of Bhima, an almost literal giant slashing, smashing somebody. It's like muy violent, but yeah. Anyway. Also, thank you, Mr. Lurker, viewer, chatter, all of three combined for the follow. Sorry, sorry. So that's why I didn't say anything before. But anyway, what a wonderful text. The question then becomes, what are we doing? There's nothing to analyze. I'm going to die, brother. There's nothing to read. Oh. Also, I have been getting way too comfortable. I just realized I was like, now for real, like half a meter away from the mic. My bad. My bad. It's like when the text is so boring, you start to lay yourself back. It happens. So no, it's not boring. It's just there is nothing of interest in itself. There is no message, and I'm suffering. But can we have something? Give me one good canto, and I'm happy. At this point, we continue until there is something interesting happening in the story. Canto 14. Kshakavadha Parva. Vaishnampayana said, living in their disguises, those mighty Kshatriyas spent 10 months in the Matsya city. Rahan, accustomed herself to being waited on, Draupadi serves Sudarshan in her apartments and lives in some anguish, even though Virata's queen and the other ladies are delighted with their Thairatri. One day, towards the end of that year of exile, Sudarshana's brother, Kichaka, fearsome commander of Virata's forces, happens to catch sight of Draupadi, seeing that woman of ethereal beauty, so like the daughter of a Deva, like a goddess who has stepped out of Devaloka to walk on earth. He is struck by a shaft of Kama and he yearns for her. The flame of lust burns high in him, and Senapati Kichaka comes to Sudarshan and says to her, I have not seen this woman in the palace before, and the sight of her intoxicates me like the fragrance of fresh wine. Tell me, who is this bewitching Apsara, as beautiful as a goddess? Whose is she, and where has she come from? She maddens my heart and has enslaved me, and only she can heal me. Ah, your Sairantari is as beautiful as a Devi. Surely she's not fit to be your servant. Let her rule over me and whatever is mine. Let her erase my soiled palace. Let her enjoy the abundance of rich food and drink served in fine dishes and goblets. I have a surfeit of everything she could want, besides my countless elephants, horses, and chariots. Having spoken to Sudeshna, Kichaka goes to Draupadi, like a sakal to a lioness, and says to Krishna in a disarming voice, who are you, exquisite one, and whose are you, Sundari? From where have you come to the city of Viratas? Tell me, dark and exquisite one, your beauty and grace are incomparable, and your face is peerless and radiant as the luminous moon. O you of the high arched brows, your eyes are like lotus petals, your voice is sweet like the koal's song, you of the slender arms, O beautiful hipped, faultless one. I have never seen any woman as perfect as you. Are you the goddess Lakshmi who lives in the midst of lotuses, or are you Hooty, oh slender waist, perhaps you're three, Kirti or Kanti, or maybe you're Rati, the beloved of Manmatka. The celestial luster of your face is like moonlight. What man could resist you when he has seen your face? Your beauty is supreme, your grace divine, your face is lovely as the full moon. Your smile like his soft lights, and your eyelashes like the delicate rays of his beam. Your soft, rounded, deep breasts, set close together, shall be adorned with garlands of gold. The sight of your lotus-bud breast stings me with desire and lashes me like Kamadeva's whip. Oh, sweet smiling and slender-waisted, when I see your belly, marked with 4 lines and measuring but a span of my hand, bent forward by the weight of your breast, when I see your hips flare from your body like the bank of a river, a fever of longing torments me. Ah, its flames ravage me, fierce as a forest fire, fanned by the hope of possessing you, sublime one, cool the fever candle by Manhamad. My desire is the rain cloud, and your surrender is its cooling shower. Sharpened by my need for you, Gamma sorrows recklessly stab my heart. Black eyes, they pierce deep and torture me past endurance. You must release me from this, embrace me and give yourself to me. Adorn yourself in the finest robes, garlands and jewelry, my sweet one, and enjoy with me all the pleasures you could desire. You who walk with the swaying gait of an elephant in route, in this place you are deprived of the happiness that you deserve. You should not have to live in hardship. Let me give you joy. Drink nectar like wines, and some myriad entertainments, and be joyful. Oh, blessed Devi, your loveliness, youth and purity are being wasted, while you are like a spring banamala, cast aside and unworn. I will forsake all my wives, let them be your servants, and I too will stay by your side, your obedient slave, exquisite creature. Hearing his passionate declarations, Draupadi says, Sutaputra, I am a low-born Sairandari, a mere hairdresser. I am not worthy of your desire. Besides, I am already married. These overtures do not become a man of your stature. I beg you to remember, Dharma. Men should only delight in their wives. Do not let temptation lead you to adultery. Refraining from adharma is the way of good men. Ignorant, sinful men who give in to lust are doomed to shame or some worse disaster. Hearing the Sairatari, the lecherous Kichaka loses control of himself, and though aware of the danger of sinning, he is overcome by his lust. He says to Draupadi, "It is not right for you to disregard me, for it is you, graceful and bewitching temptress, who have lured me into Manmata's spell. If you reject the one who is enchanted by you and who speaks so adoringly to you, you will regret it later. Timid, black-eyed one, you of the flowing brows and the waist, like a lotus stalk, know that I am the real master of this kingdom. The people of this land depend on me for their lives. In ardor and vigor I have no rivals on this earth, and there isn't another man on earth as handsome, as virile, wealthy or rich in treasures as I am. Fortunate Devi, why do you choose to be a servant when you can bask in luxury and have everything your heart desires? Accept me, and I will make you mistress of this kingdom. Anything you want will be yours for the asking." Draupadi answers Kichaka's wretched proposition. Sutaputra, do not be so rash and throw your life away. I am protected by my 5 husbands. You cannot have me. My husbands are Gandharvas and will kill you if you try. Do not bring death upon yourself. You have embarked on a path that no wise man should take. Fool, you are like an ignorant child on the seashore who wants to cross the waves. Even if you dive to the core of the earth, or fly deep into the sky, or cross the ocean to the other shore, you cannot escape my divine Gandharvas who slaughter their enemies. Kichaka, why do you pursue me so persistently? almost like a sick man who's impatient for death. What do you yearn for me, like a baby lying on its mother's lap, reaching for the moon? For you, who crave their beloved wife, there is no haven for my unharbored husbands, either on earth or in the heavens. Gichaka, for your own good, be wise and save your life. That's the end of Canto 14? Wow, incredibly harsh and uh, I this one is very interesting. It has some parts that are quite quite good to notice in terms of wow. So what are we actually talking about? I I think this is like probably the fifth, sixth time that this has happened recently in the story. It's amazing how much that occurs. It's like wow. It in the way in which they speak about these things, there are situations of this sort. Let's say, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that much of a wild declaration that they are issues. In the end, they are problems that are presented even in the story as problems. So yeah, it's like wow, is is it like that? I guess, but no. Besides that, the basic analysis, I don't know. It's is there anything to actually say? I guess it's interesting that yeah, actually it does happen so currently. I don't know, no. I don't have that much to actually say. It's just that's that tiny observation at this point. It's like, oh yeah, get another encounter with somebody who says, yeah, please don't do not follow your own mind, just follow mine or something like that. But yeah, how long? What? This one is incredibly short out of nowhere? Okay, wait. We're going to read this. No. I'm going to be wise. I'm going to be wise. I'm going to exert caution. Let me take a tiny so-called idle break. Uh, what is an idle break? Great question. Google that yourself, I assume. I will be back in 2 minutes less. Ta-da! I'm back. It wasn't that long. I think. I don't know how much more do we actually have. I I want to try and read a little bit more. I guess the question is how much though. I this count is actually like long, so perhaps we abstain from that. Huh? What if we don't read so much? I wish us to a moderate amount. So yeah, we do this canto and probably one or two more cantos after that. In the end, there is so much nothing going on that it's not like, oh no, yeah, we are skipping on the text. This is like only, what is it? What's a good example? I don't actually remember any right now. I am just too cooked from reading only this right now, but it's like, I don't know. Let me think about it. We can come up with something. It's like when you have to read for 20 pages the particular, absolutely obscure interest of the author and nothing else, because they needed to insert that. Something similar like that here. Not a niche interest, but just, oh yeah, actually occurring. Nothing of nothing beneficial to analyze is occurring, let's say like that. So yeah. Anyway, I I guess yeah, we can write this one and probably call it a day. Canto 15, Kicheka Vadhya Parva continued. By Sampayana said, resected by Draupadi, the lost grace Kichaka abandons good sense and says to Sudeshna, daughter of Gigaya, oh my sister, do whatever you must to make your Sairatri mine. Somehow see that this woman with the swaying gait of a she-elephant accepts me, for I am dying for wanting her. Sudeshna, Kichaka's ardent distress moves Virata's gentle queen to pity. She thinks deeply about what her brother wants and about Krishna's fears. She says to her brother, Destaputra, on a festival day, arrange for some special food and wine. I will send my Sairatari to you on the pretext of bringing me wine. When she comes to your home, make sure you are alone with her and undisturbed. Then woo her in whatever way you think best. If her mind is suited, she might be persuaded to give herself to you. Kichaka leaves his sister apartments and in a few days begins his preparations. He procures wine fit for a king's table. He has cooks prepare no, he has expert cooks prepare every kind of delicacy, including superb meat dishes. When all is ready, Sudeshna sends Krishna to Kichaka's palace. She says, my lovely Malini, go to my brother Kichaka's house and fetch me some wine, for I am terribly thirsty. Krishna replies, my queen, I cannot go to Kichaka's home. You know how bold he is, beautiful Devi of the perfect arms. While I work for you in this palace, I will not sin by being unfaithful to my husbands. Oh, gentle queen, remember the conditions I made before entering your service. You of the dresses and soft curls, foolish Kichaka is under Kama's spell and will dishonor me. You have so many maids. Send any of them. For if I go, Kichaka will surely ravish me. Sudeshna says, you're going at my behest and from my house. He will surely not hurt you. And hands her Sairatri a golden flask, her eyes full of tears. The helpless Draupadi prays for protection as she sets out for Kichaga's apartments. She prays, I have not been with any man other than my husband's, by virtue of my chastity, grant that Kichaka be unable to overpower me even while I am in his presence. And she invokes Suryareva. The sun god hears her and commands a Rakshasa to protect her. The unseen Rakshasa follows the chased Draupadi. Seeing Krishna enter his presence like a frightened doe, the suitor rises from his chair, jubilant as a man who, desperate to cross a river, manages to acquire a boat. That's Canto 15. Very good. Uh, I don't know. Conclusion. People are evil. Or something like that. Unavoidably, the other, I don't remember, the queen, understood that her brother, the brother of the king, I guess, was going to do something bad. So I don't actually understand. Everyone seemed to be quite willing to defend the Pandavas to accept them and whatnot. It's kind of surprising out of nowhere. I guess the corruption of the soul can be so profound that people are swayed in these ways, even if it goes completely against everything that they said before and promised that they will do and whatnot. But yeah, it's something like that, I guess. It's we have probably this is going to be way too violent. So what if we leave it here? I'm already somewhat mentally tired, so yeah, we can leave the ring up to there. And in future me will have to deal with the encounter of oh wow, what's going to happen next? We're going to see something probably incredibly intense. But it's just a text. It shouldn't matter that much. Shouldn't be that important. Yeah. So yeah. For now, we are good. As always, let me actually try to save in which page we left because I haven't done that yet. So yeah, it was good. We almost 40 pages out of no 40. Oh yeah, actually almost 40 pages out of nowhere. Amazing. This is the best when things go smoothly. But yeah, it was nice. We have still way too much more to keep on reading, so next time what I want to see. Next time, next time, different context. Next time, outside of this present moment, what is the next thing that will happen? Wow, I don't know. I have no clue whatsoever. Probably, I think I'm going to try to finish the game that we started before. That will be a wise choice in terms of let's actually commit to that. So yeah, probably that tomorrow, today, after tomorrow, we will see. But yeah, for now we are good. So yes, thanks for being here. It was quite a great reading session. Was it great? I don't actually feel that great in terms of it was so empty, so absolutely empty. Ah, but yeah, it was something surely. So that's good. And, even if today we didn't learn that much, we had the opportunity to progress with the reading itself, which is good. So that's something. And yeah. Anyway, point being, thanks for everything. And today, today we're leaving it like that. Have a nice night. Have a nice day. Have a nice life. Take care. Do things that you need to do. Be responsible. Be happy. Be. And see ourselves next time. And even if there is no next time, it doesn't matter. Thank you for everything. It was wonderful. Take care and do your stuff. That's what matters. So yeah, goodbye.